All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Cool Table. We are here. We are live today. It's been forever since we've done a live stream. I think the last one we did was for the Barbie movie, and prior to that, you guys bullied me into a couple of Hangoutlanders, which wasn't fun. We're here. I'm Beth. I'm having a white wine spritzer. Hello to if you're on TikTok and you're like gonna watch us live. Hi, we're gonna talk about pop culture. You're only gonna be hearing my side of the conversation unless you go visit us on YouTube. So go do that. Everybody say hello. Say hi, my friends.
Hi.
Andy, your curls look phenomenal.
Let me tell you, I figured out the secret. Not
Which
really,
is?
but
Oh.
I bought a Denman brush and I put the gel in my hair sopping wet and I run the Denman brush through it and like get it to be curly, and then I spray it with curly hairspray and then I dry it.
And do you actually dry it with a hair dryer or you diffuse?
A diffuser? Yep,
Gotcha.
I diffuse.
Nice.
So yeah, they feel good. I feel like today. Well, also the fact that it's not humid, it helps a lot.
Understandable.
It's never not humid here. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Sheila.
Hi. Hey,
Everybody's
I'm Amy.
hair looks good. Amy's hair looks good. Andy's hair looks good. Mine does not. And your haircut's so bad.
I because it's a boozy brunch, I made myself a boozy drink. It's a Paloma because, it's my personality.
I didn't make a drink, guys. I wanted to, but
I should have just popped a bottle of champagne. I have so much Veuve and Moet left over from my birthday party because everyone brought me bottles of it, the good shit. But then I'm like, do I really want to open a bottle of Veuve just to have like a teen? Oh, I have a mustache, a sunshine mustache.
Very cute.
But we're gonna have friends over tonight for a fire pit, and s'mores. Because I want to get rid of all of our Halloween candy. We're going to play, instead of Can It Kirkland, we're going to play Can It S'more. And all of the candy that we have left, we're going to make s'mores with it.
Oh,
that's
yum.
so fun.
S'mores with like a Reese's peanut butter cup is
so good.
top tier. Like top tier. I don't know how anybody makes so much just like a Hershey bar when you could have a Reese's peanut butter cup instead.
I agree.
We have Snickers. We're going to try Laffy Taffy. We're going to see what happens to gummy bears. It's going to be fun.
Nice.
Well, interestingly enough, do you know that banana Laffy Taffy is based on a banana flavor for a banana that you really can't get anymore?
Yeah, like the original bananas.
Like what bananas actually used to taste like?
Yes, the Gromy Shell banana. Now we get Cavendish bananas. Thanks, Mo Rocca from Obituaries. If you want to talk about like stuff that I've been doing while the strike was on, listening to all the episodes of Mo Rocca's podcast, Mobituaries. It's wonderful and educational.
Honestly, I was like, you're saying words I've never heard. It's just a country I just don't know about. I know Mo Rocca, but when you said the rest of it, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Moroccan?
No.
Is that the same flavor also that's in like I love banana now and laters?
Yes, that's exactly right. If you're tasting banana flavoring, it's based on the Gromy Shell banana, which you can still get on the internet, and I might get them.
I was going to say, like, are they extinct? Have they gone the way of the dodo bird? They actually still exist.
You can still get them, but they're very difficult to get. They're no longer like mass grown, which is interesting because all bananas are apparently clones of each other. Guys, the more you know. I didn't know any of this.
Well, I love that because when people are like, I don't eat GMO, I'm like, bitch, you do.
You sure do.
I'm eating it right now on this fried rice I'm having.
Yeah, fried rice.
People were asking if you were eating cereal, Beth, so thank you for clarifying they're eating fried rice.
I'm having chicken fried rice that I bought last night and didn't finish. And a white wine spritzer was just really, really refreshing and perfect for today.
What kind of white wine did you put in it? A Sancerre, a Chablis, a Pinot Grigio,
a Pinot Grigio. And the raspberry lime Waterloo. No, the raspberry lime Polar.
Okay.
I
I almost bought Waterloo today because they were out of my Spindrift pamplemousse, the grapefruits that I love. But I went for another Spindrift that I've never tried, which is like two combinations of orange something. So,
See, guys, I keep drinking LaCroix. Am I missing out? You were talking about seltzers I've never tried before. Well, I've had
Spindrift
Polar.
has like fruit in it, so it's got like a little bit of like it's not just water. I really like Waterloo. Like they have a peach that I really like, a watermelon that I think is good. Polar's great. All the Polars are good.
All right.
Polars are there's a lot of carbonation in it, which is what I really love.
I love that.
I drink Spindrift because I don't really think I'm ever going to retire. So I just spend all my money on the most expensive seltzer that exists, or sparkling water, or whatever they're called.
I went to a retirement session at my staff convention last week with the Memphis Libraries. And I was like, what is happening? Like, you guys kept talking about like the earlier you start, the better. I'm like, I'm 43. Can I just not retire? Can I just like forget that this exists and like not have to worry about it and ride my husband's coattails till I die? And I don't know, do something like else. I just don't want to. I don't want to think about it. I don't know how people think about it all the time. I've never thought about it. I've always worked part-time or worked freelance and never thought once about my retirement until recently. And I hate it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do it.
I think that's normal. That's normal. And I think now that I'm 50, I'm allowed to start putting in a greater percentage. You're like limited by your percentage in your 401k. And like, I'm not ready to have that conversation with myself on the form. Like, fuck, I'm 50 now.
Yeah.
It's like retirement.
I max out, guys.
I maxed out too. Yeah.
Yeah. I maxed it out at 55. Look, I love my job, but when I turn 55,
peace out.
It's over. I'm done.
Yeah.
Ryan maxes out, but I don't know what that is. I have no idea what he's doing. I don't pay attention to it at all.
Yeah. I figure even if I retire, I can still substitute teach or something and hang out with middle schoolers. I don't know.
Literally, we just had a woman who joined our library who is a research librarian from way back. Like she worked at our like original library when it was like downtown and like a castle and stuff. She's done like personal librarian research projects. She's gone to like rich people's homes and like catalog their libraries and stuff. And she was in the business sciences division for a really long time. And I guess she retired and now she's back. I don't know how old she is. I haven't asked her, but like she's post-retirement. And she came back because like it's not enough. Like retirement like fucking sucks or whatever. So yeah.
Especially if you're all 401k right now and you do I forget what it's called, but you basically like kind of pay yourself a monthly salary out of your 401k. If you look at what's left over, it can be very terrifying right now because the market has been kind of woo-woo. Like I just looked at Ruby's, I should never open them because I can't use it right now anyway, but I looked at her college savings account and how much it just lost in value like in the last quarter. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's very terrifying. I don't like to think about it, especially because I'm clearly going to have to take care of my parents and my mom's going to live forever. And so I'm just like, I can't look at it. I can't know what's going on. I don't know. I have a friend who is very, 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 very anxious. And she's always like, how come you're never anxious? And I'm like, I never think about the future. I just
avoid it.
Yeah. It's not on my bucket list. I'm not thinking about it. So.
Exactly. It's like why I refuse to even open up my Amex bill until like the day I know it's due.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, look at it. And I'm like, Amy, you're so dumb. You're about the dumbest shit.
The worst thing I ever did, and I did this since we're talking about what we did during the strike. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad y'all are talking in the chat. Since we're talking today, since it's Boozy Brunch, about all the stuff we haven't been able to talk about since like May.
This is not brought to you by Fidelity, we swear.
And what was I going to say?
We said we're talking about all the things we haven't been able to talk about during the strike.
Yeah, no, I don't remember what it was. It's gone. Boozy Brunch hitting early.
So you were saying about oh God. No.
Well, like I had to text Beth right before this. I'm like, when did the strike even start? Like it's time is just so weird COVID wise and everything.
I know.
And the writer strike was when?
The WGA went on strike in May, like mid-May.
Okay.
And then SAG-AFTRA went on strike in July.
Okay.
Prior to, I just know it was like 2 weeks before Comic-Con, because I was like, Beth, you made the right choice not getting tickets to Comic-Con this year.
So
Yeah.
one question I had about, so the WGA, the strike was over, and then Saturday Night Live went back on the air. But aren't all of those actors SAG actors? How did that work?
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how SNL went back live. I was like, I thought that those were all actors. So I'm sure they were under a different contract.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
I was
just
just curious.
Or they just scabbed. I mean,
No, they didn't, because
There's
if
no way.
if you listen to Bowen, if you listen to Las Culturistas, like they totally changed about things they would even talk about on the podcast because Bowen did not want to scab. Well, Matt too. I think they're both under, but I don't know. I'm sure there are rules, like there's special. Like I just went to Rhode Island Comic Con and all the actors were there because that's not considered promoting like a thing. It was just kind of promoting themselves. But
right,
I don't
they
know
can
the rules.
they can like have pictures taken and do
Yes.
autographs and all that.
Yeah,
They're
if you're not
promoting, like, a current
if you're not following me on Instagram, you missed it because I got to meet and touch Andrew McCarthy last weekend. And I closed my eyes during the picture, of course, but worth it. He's like, I'm living my YOLO.
Yeah.
After my friends got me a cameo of Don Johnson wishing me a happy birthday and talking shit about pickleball. And then I saw that Dream. And then I saw that Andrew McCarthy was coming and I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to get my picture taken with him. But I made the mistake of getting the photo op. So it's kind of like that boom, 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 in. And I realized like, I'm not gonna be able to talk to him. So I just walked right up to him and I said, hi, my name is Amy. Just so I could hear him say, hi, Amy. And then I was like, oh, thank you.
Did they give you like a few seconds to say something? They usually do, right?
You had like maybe 3 seconds. And then it was like, you're out. And then, I'm just like vibrating.
But so many people do those photo ops where they have like, can you do this pose with me or whatever? Like that has to be within like
Yes.
a
So
20-second thing, right?
Of course. Yeah. But you could, if you really wanted to spend time with them and have them like sign something, you had to go stand in line at their autograph table. And I kind of didn't really realize that. But during the autograph table, the autograph tables were all kind of throughout like Artist Alley and everything. And I was just walking around, just looking at people. And I saw Robert Schmeigel had a table and no one was there. And he was just like standing in front of it. And I went up and had a 30-minute conversation with him. No exaggeration, just about like life, Botox, the housing crisis, how Newport is now the New Hamptons, how rich people ruin everything. He was a delight.
That's awesome.
And then I got my picture taken with him. And then I was like, I don't have any cash. And so he was like, I trust you. You can come back with it. Because Ruby carries my debit card around with her at Comic-Con. And then he said, well, he says, you've been so delightful. I'll do the video of like Triumph, the insult comic, insulting you. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to meet Andrew McCarthy in a little bit. I really need to have my self-esteem like at the highest level. So I'm going to abstain from that. But yeah, he was a delight.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I love moments like that. That's why Comic-Cons, especially like, that's why Comic-Cons are so great, is because you don't expect sometimes to just like
run into somebody.
Be in an elevator with Sophie Turner, like you just don't expect. But that happens.
Yes. I also love how all the stars are teeny, and I don't mean like skinny. They're all so short. Like I'm 5'7" and I was wearing 4-inch heels with my outfit. And I was just like, I'm a giantess compared to all these people.
Yep. Especially like the men too. Like you don't think they're going to be teeny tiny. And then.
Yeah, like Judd Nelson walked by at one point because all the Breakfast Club people were there, the Brat Pack thing. And I was just like, that man is tiny.
So years ago, I actually regret not going to New York Comic Con this year because like people posting their pictures with like Ewan McGregor and Tom Hiddleston, I was losing my marbles because Tom Hiddleston, I was like, and I've met him before because he's been on stage in New York a lot, and like, but there's just something different about him putting his arm around you and taking a picture, but
touching you.
Yeah, like touching you. But so years ago, I went to see a show in London at the Roundhouse, which is like not in the center of London. It's like way north. And
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor was there, and it was this weird show where there were no seats, and it was all you standing, and then everything happened above you, like people on wires, and like this giant plexiglass, like plastic pool that the actors were like jumping into, and so you were like looking up at people like belly flopping and sliding around. This was super weird, but they were like pushing you around, and at one point, like they were pushing us back, and Ewan McGregor was like right in front of me, and I almost fell down. I had to literally wrap my arms up around him, and I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad, but also so happy. And afterwards I was like, man, I'm so sorry. He was like, no, it's awesome, it's fine, and he was like totally vibing.
man.
He like loved he loved it. He loved it.
Yeah.
But I was like, ugh. It was wild. But he is tiny. He's very short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheila asked if Andrew McCarthy was shorter than he seems. I'm 5'7". He was shorter than me in the picture, so I'm assuming he's like 5'8", maybe. He's GL size. I love a short king.
Yeah. My thing is how, honestly, I know you're not saying that they're all like tiny, skinny, but they all are tiny, skinny.
They're all tiny, skinny too.
Especially the men. Like, I think as a super like skinny person, the women don't, I tend to be just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, of course, Natalie Portman doesn't have she's tiny, tiny, but like Paul Bettany or Tom Hiddleston or like all of these guys like walk out and I'm like, holy shit, they are so skinny. They're so skinny. And you just don't even like, sometimes I'm just looking at them, how are you a man? How do you look at all beefy ever on screen? I remember I saw Paul Wesley a few years ago at New York Comic Con.
Who's that?
And he's Stefan from the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
And I remember being like, but he looks ripped when he takes his shirt off in the Vampire Diaries, and he's just like this itty bitty baby, like he's just so small.
He's a little baby.
Yeah,
which is why I'm surprised. Adam Driver looks big on camera, but I'm surprised he doesn't look like an absolute goon, because I saw him in Burn
goon
This,
is a great
and
word.
His hand was Kerry Russell's bigger than her head. Like he put his hand on the side of her head one time, and I was like, what the hell am I looking at? Like, he is enormously large.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they must put a lot of actors on boxes next to him because he's huge.
Yeah. And like my husband is huge and like has one of those beefy hands. It's bigger than my head. And like everything is just he's just, and like, so I guess my perspective for other men is like him. And I'm always like, why are your shoulders so narrow? Why do you not look like you're carrying around like a yoke? I don't understand. So yeah, I guess that's probably my fault. I mean, I was really close to The Rock last Comic-Con. He came through the Hall H press pit to go up under the stage and come up as Black Adam. And I was kind of like, oh, he looks average. Like he walked right by us and I was like, average. He's not too big.
The Rock.
He's not though. Because I saw him in Miami once and they were filming Baywatch at the hotel that I was staying at. And his like waist is snatched.
I was just like 6'5". That seems like a lie. That's how I felt. I was like, eh. Because my husband is 6'2", and most people see him and they're like, no, he's bigger than that. And I'm like, no, he's not. It's just you in your mind think The Rock, who's probably 6'2" or 6'3", is 6'5", and he looks so big. And he's just not. He's just normal. Like, so my perspective on men is skewed, I think.
Well, it's like how we think Jamie Fraser in the book is just, this like head above everybody walking around. And then on the show, even though Sam is
6'3". Yeah.
Yeah. He just seems
average. You're just like average. Yeah. But also Katrina is too tall, for that. And
he doesn't seem very skinny. I don't recall when I met Sam Heughan thinking, oh my God, tiny. Like he seems normal.
Other than his legs.
Normal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his legs are really skinny.
He skips leg day. All right, I'm going to turn on my space heater If you can hear it, I'll turn it off. Let me know.
Okay.
Because I'm freezing.
Yeah. Graham McTavish is not little. I've
No.
hugged him a few times and he's rock fucking hard. I mean, I've said it many times. The man is like granite. Granite.
When I really met him and had like a long encounter with him, I was so drunk I don't remember it. I don't remember what I said to him. I have pictures. Apparently I was very kind to him and he was very kind to me, but I literally have no memory of meeting him. I was wasted.
That's
wasted.
fun.
I think he
That's so fun.
appreciates that. That feels like he's just like, cool.
He's
And
a party animal.
Yeah, well, Gary Lewis is a party animal too, and he kissed me full on the mouth.
Who's that?
Colin McKenzie.
Column.
Dad from Billy Elliot, my favorite role of his. But yeah, and also in the Marvels, where I was like looking, he plays a Skrull, so he's all makeup and whatever, and I was like, is that Gary Lewis? And it was.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Graham McTavish has also been known to kiss somebody straight on the mouth. So
It was very nice.
Familial.
What'd that feel like, Beth?
I don't know.
Soft lips.
I don't know. Let's talk about what we watched during the strike, you guys. Because there was a lot of things. It feels like it was one of the best summers for television in a long time, and we needed to talk about any of it.
We didn't.
Who do you have a favorite from the summer?
I am okay. So you guys know I'm a Real Housewives person. Right now, it is the riches of Bravo. Right now, there's 5 different housewives that are on currently, plus Summer House that I'm catching up on, Winter House. I feel like I've only been watching Bravo because I've said this many times. Gilles is a pain in the ass to start to watch shows with. In fact, the show that we got into this summer was The Offer, and that's old. It's from like 2000, but Matthew Good as Robert Evans, the producer, talking to you like he's Cary Grant and come here, bubby, and let's make a movie together. Oh my God. I just want him to star now in a Bob Evans. Is it biopic, something. It was so sexy. And then I read the real Robert Evans biography because I wanted to feel like I was spending more time with Matthew Good as Robert Evans, the producer of The Godfather, Chinatown, former head of Paramount.
Did he make a couple of hometown restaurants as well, Bob Evans?
Yeah.
I don't know who this is.
Yes. Robert Evans. He was like famous for his permatan and like his really cool chunky glasses. He was married like 20 times, once to Ally McGraw. She left him for Steve McQueen. It's like old school Hollywood stuff. But Miles Teller is in it. It's about the making of The Godfather. Miles Teller to me was doing his best Peyton Manning impersonation throughout the whole thing. So I found that really annoying.
Is this a show?
It's a show on Paramount Plus.
And it was from 2000, but Miles Teller is in it?
Yes.
Was he 12?
Yeah. How old is Miles Teller?
Not 2000, 2020. Sorry.
God, I was like, that's impossible.
My Paloma must already be getting to me.
It's called what is it called? The Offer?
The Offer. It's got mobsters. Well, we didn't either. We paid the $5. I just canceled it. I also canceled MGM Plus that we bought because Gilles thought he was going to watch a bunch of old James Bond movies. I just canceled Stars because I don't care.
Exactly. I went through my Prime Video subscriptions one day while I was at work. I was clearly bored, and I was like, "What am I actually spending money on in Prime that I'm not paying attention to?" Stars, Sundance Now, and that I know 100% was for Discovery of Witches, which I didn't need because I had screeners, but I still had a Sundance Now subscription. PBS Masterpiece and PBS Documentaries gone. I was like, I don't need to watch Miss Scarlet and the Duke. They don't fuck in this show. So I'm like done with that, even though that show is great. If you haven't watched
I love that show.
But you can get all of that just by watching your regular I have the PBS app and that stuff is all free.
I don't know about that. But that was my point. Like, why am I spending $5.99 a month?
You can't get the old ones.
But what you're doing is genius, and I have to start doing that because some things I have just as a straight up subscription. Right. Some things I do through Roku. and then I forget what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
So
and
I have
when
no
I
idea.
see Amazon on my account, I'm just like, of course.
I just assume that it's
Yeah.
like some stupid shit I bought, like vacuum bags or something.
Even if it's not, because I don't purchase things on Amazon unless there is no other option. It's just a personal little quirk. I don't like it. So usually I'm thinking, oh, I bought something I had to have on Amazon, like a Kindle book or and usually I'm thinking it's a subscription. It's a subscription.
Mhm.
And then I was like, why do I have so many a month? And so also all of those plus Stars, which I 100% got rid of, Showtime, which we don't watch any shows on Showtime that I can think of. We were just watching we just had Showtime so Ryan could see like movies from the 2000s. Do you know what I mean? Like he wanted to watch The Abyss over and over again, and it
But that's
probably
a
was
great-
on Showtime.
Let me tell you something. That movie still slaps.
I'm not saying it doesn't. It is great. It is great. But we didn't need to subscribe to Showtime for it. We have a DVD.
Peacock just added The Burbs. I literally like jumped up and started clapping. That is the best Tom Hanks movie of all
great
time.
movie.
I will. Let's have a debate.
What
It's
is the
hands
difference
down.
between Peacock and Paramount Plus? I thought that was the same thing.
So
Peacock
Peacock
is
is
NBC.
NBC Universal. Yeah, it's NBC. It's the Housewives for me.
Okay.
And Paramount is CBS.
Yes.
Oh, it is CBS. Okay.
Mhm.
So and I don't watch. I'm not old, so I don't watch Big Bang Theory or any of that shit.
I've never watched a CBS show.
I
in my
don't
life. I couldn't
watch
tell you what
an
any of them are.
NCIS and all of its iterations. I have no idea.
I feel like there are a couple shows on Paramount Plus I watch.
Smash or something like that.
Smash
would be
was
on Peacock.
NBC. Thank
Oh.
you. That show slapped. I don't want to hear. That show was so bad it was good.
They
will
ruined
cry
that
on
show.
that hill.
Andy and I will like tweet about this randomly. I'll be like, I'm still mad about what they did to Smash. It had such the idea had it had a Super Bowl evening opening. I mean, it had everything.
It should have been good. I
Leslie
watched
Odom-
one episode and I was like,
Should've been good.
absolutely not. Can't do it. I hated it from the get.
Oh my
Like,
God,
I
no,
was,
it was so bad it was good.
mm-mm.
It was definitely one of
But
those.
yes, but I didn't want to hate watch it. I wanted to
Right.
watch it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It's kind of like the Gilded Age. Like I will probably hate watch a few episodes because especially they're right now at the Tennis Hall of Fame, and but I hate it.
No, I love it.
No,
I love
see,
everything
okay,
about
I
it.
read an article, guys. I read an article about Gilded Age and talking about the second season, and the article was kind of scabby because the strike was not over, and I was like, "What is going on? Why are people on Slate? Like, why are they covering this stuff?" But anyway, and they were talking about how the second season delivers on like the stuff that the first season didn't. Like when the first season was just like I was talking about how when Christine Baranski crossed the street and that was the big drama, like who's gonna cross the street this season?
Yeah.
Like, yes. But they said that like the second season is like delivering on more like high octane drama than this first season did. I can't imagine that it could possibly,
It's
especially with
not.
Mamie or whoever is at
Well,
the helm,
Cynthia
and it's so
Nixon is
bad.
still on that show, and I can't watch her like mewling in that weird accent that she does.
I
Like,
don't mind
cannot-
her. I can turn my noggin off of her being Cynthia Nixon somehow. That works. I cannot turn off. What is it? Is it Mamie?
It's not. It's the youngest Gummer, and I forget
Gracie?
her name. No, Mamie and Gracie both go by Gummer. This youngest Gummer does not go by Gummer, and I'm like, I don't know. She's trying to make it on her own, and I'm like, girl,
Did she
She's
go by
terrible.
Streep?
No,
What's her fucking name, y'all? Okay.
I don't know.
talentless.
She drives me crazy. I can't.
They should
stand
just
her.
kill her off. She's a terrible actress.
And like the amount of like Broadway talent that's in this show and the amount of like Emmy award winning talent on this show, it should be so good and it's so unwatchable. Anyway, I haven't watched.
No, I love it. That is why I cannot stop. I love seeing all my Broadway besties. Audra McDonald is an absolute queen.
I
Like
know.
every time a Broadway person just parades themselves on screen, and I'm sorry, the costumes are 10 out of 10
to die. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
to
true.
die for. They're
And whoever is Mr. Carrie Coon.
oh, so hot.
Oh, Oscar Isaac's little brother or whatever. He has that
I
whole thing
would
going.
ride his face to New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
And he's
my
got a
God.
voice that's just. I want him to narrate my life.
Louise Jacobson.
Louise Jacobson.
Yes, that's exactly who it is. So,
Y'all, who is
anyways,
that?
it's the girl that you're talking about.
I'm
Gummer.
literally still looking her up, and she's like 8th build on this fucking show. It's
So-
like scrolling through IMDb looking. There she is.
So So here's my thing about him, because he's so hot and I root for him every week, but like
Even though he's evil, he's the
he's
fucking
horrible.
capitalist.
He's like this horrible robber baron. I'm like, I'm gonna crush the unions, and I'm like, tell me more.
That face, I'm telling you, that beard, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gets it. He gets me.
So you said, I'm trying to remember what I watched this summer. I definitely hate watched And Just Like That. Speaking of
Yes,
I did not.
Cynthia Nixon.
It was
being-
bad too.
They
God,
ruined Miranda.
yeah,
They
fully
ruined
did.
Miranda.
I hate that character now. I hate it.
Is
Yeah.
Samantha in it?
For 2 seconds,
For
a
2
cameo,
seconds.
being like, I can't come to your party. Love you.
That's
she-
it? They
Yes,
made a
but-
big fucking stink about her being back on.
Yeah, so she filmed her own things. She got a stylist. She got Patricia Field to come in and dress her. And she was on for like 2 seconds. And she cashed $1 million check or something. And you know what? God bless you.
She literally did not share screen time.
No, she's
Nope.
still in London or wherever she is.
She was on the phone.
That is a
Mhm.
boss fucking move.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Good for her.
Slay.
I would have done that too. Why not? Why not look amazing? Because she look. I feel like she looks better.
She looks
than most of them.
amazing. Yes.
I will say I do think that Sarah Jessica Parker looks really good.
She looks
And-
good.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason she looks super good is because whatever work she has been so fucking subtle.
Yes.
The teensiest bits of eyelid work, the smallest amount of like lip filler and whatever. Like she is
Mhm.
so snatched in term, but like has allowed her neck to like age and her like I think she looks
Her
incredible.
hands.
Yes, she looks incredible. Charlotte does not.
Charlotte is
Um,
getting that, I call it now Krista Miller face, because we watched Shrinking. And then when I cosplayed at, she does the voice for a cartoon character, but that was I did one of her characters at Comic-Con. And you get too much in the
Mhm.
cheek
Mhm.
and it pulls everything up and you get Joker mouth. And then it
Mhm.
makes it hard for you to speak. It actually kind of creates like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, you
ugh,
get this
it's-
like, and then you get filler up here to get rid of your cigarette lines, and
Yep.
your lip flips. So you have Joker mouth, and your lip is
Yes.
flipped up. You can't breathe like that. Like I don't know how they eat, but anyway.
Yeah, like you get the flip
Mm-hmm.
that's supposed to be like hell from everyone that I know that has gotten it.
Yeah.
They do it there
So-
instantly. Like that was a mistake.
You can see Sarah Jessica's like pucker and stuff like that, and I just like have a lot of respect for somebody who's going to be that much. I mean, clearly she gets work done. Like she's not workless, but it's super
Mhm.
subtle, and I think that she looks great. But anyway, yay for Kim Cattrall getting a bag for something she didn't want to do and not having to see any of them IRL. That's amazing. Good for
And
her.
now she's like her almost naked body is in Times Square because she's doing Kim Kardashian Skims.
Oh,
And it's just like she's just like right there in the heart of it, looking like, again, gorgeous.
she's always been gorgeous.
Can I complain really quick though about the Skims? And it's probably a spoof. I'm not even really sure. The nipple bra thing.
Sure.
So Kim
Years.
Kardashian has talked about doing a Skims bra with nipples, a nipple insert kind of thing.
Oh,
to where
yes,
like
I saw
don't
that.
we're women, we have nipples. And I'm just like, I have really big nips. And I was made fun of like all through high school. My friend Phil would always call me Nipper. And I'm just like, I've always been the nip queen. And now it's cool. It's like seeing people get freckle tattoos, like things that I was
That
just
makes me
made
crazy.
fun of. I'm just like, fuck everybody. Like, let me have this thing. You can't have it. If you have teeny nips, I get to be the big nip girl. I get to have freckles.
If people get like big nose implants, I'm out. I will stage a revolt. I'll be like, how dare you? My whole life, I've been hiding this motherfucker, and you're gonna get like think
Yeah.
that it's cool. I'll be out. I'll be out.
I literally, speaking of big schnozzes, I am using Breathe Right strips now because I'm snoring a lot. It drives Jill crazy. I mean, I feel bad. Snoring sucks. And he was like, sometimes you stop breathing. I'm like, great. Well, I have sleep apnea. Wonderful. So I had to Google, how do you put Breathe Right strips on a big nose?
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't quite figure out where to put it.
Like, does
so
it go
like
on the bridge, or does it go down in the fleshy part?
yeah, so you want to kind of do it to where it's on the top of the nostrils to kind of pull up the nostrils, but not on the nostrils. But yeah, like what you're saying, like if big noses come back into style, fuck you. Not come back into style. They've always been in style, but
yeah. They're always handsome. I'm getting like a witch's wart right on the tip of this bulb right here. And
what is that?
I'm just like there's like a protuberance, not like a protuberance, it's a protube, but it's just like a little red dot. It looks like the beginning of a zit, but it never becomes a zit. It
It's
isn't
like it's a broken blood vessel.
It's not really that red. It's just like a little pink, barely pink, bit of a little dot on the end of my nose. And I did have a zit like near it, and I popped that, and it made the little protuberance get kind of like swollen. And my daughter was like, "What's happening here?" And I was like, "I'm becoming a crone." I was like, "Leave me alone. When I get my witch's warts, you're just gonna have to deal with it." And she was like, "Oh, all right."
Can you go get that zapped? That seems
I'm
like
sure
a
I
zap
can.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I can. I've got other skin issues that need to be zapped. But let's talk about what we watched this summer. So I watched a lot of gay middle-aged men in love. That's what I watched this summer, I think.
Did you watch that Farewell Friends or whatever that show is with the guy from Magic Mike? Oh
no,
with the Bailey guy.
with Matt Bomer and Jonathan Bailey. That I have not watched yet because it just
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch it.
Wait, what do we have to subscribe to get that?
It is on. Oh God, what is it on? I want to say it's not Netflix. Let me see.
It's not Netflix. It's
And they're also really I've seen several promos, and it takes me a second to be like, wait, that's Bridgerton guy. Like that to me should be the thing that they're focusing on.
And it looks so good. It looks so good.
Hulu.
What is it freaking called? Hulu?
Oh,
Fellow Travelers.
Yeah, also Showtime.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, I got rid of my Showtime app. But anyway, I can get that back in about 5 seconds. But I think they look so beautiful in that. I don't even know what the story is. I just know that they're gay in like the 50s. And I'm like, all right, I'm gay. They look like Mad Men, but gay. And I want to watch
I watched
Mad Men.
Heartstopper.
I watched Heartstopper, and it was fantastic. My daughters and I sat and watched it twice together, like in one weekend. We were just.
Was that a second season?
It was the
2?
second season where they go to France.
Oh,
they go to France, and they were all in France, and you can just like tell, and it was so super cute. Oh, I loved it.
They were all in France because we were in France when they were filming it, and I remember Ruby being like, "They're because she follows one of them on TikTok or something, and she was like, "They're here. Can we go find them filming?"
I would have been really hard pressed not to go find them filming if we were there. So cute, but Summer I Turned Pretty also was this summer, and I did not like it.
I didn't watch it.
I did not know the story of the second season. Like I kind of knew the first book, but I haven't read those books. My daughter has. They're her favorites. And she was like, "You're going to die. You're going to die with what happens." And so the whole time I'm watching Summer I Turned Pretty, and I'm just like seething. I hate the story. Because it's a love triangle, but it's two brothers. And oh my God, I hated it. Hated it.
Did you watch the Adam Sandler You're Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah?
I did.
I loved that. It was so cute.
It was very
good.
Cute. Oh, I had a lot of feelings during that one. That was like friend angst, like when you watch it and you're like you know what's coming, you know what's gonna happen. And I was like, like my heart like stopped in my chest. It was a lot. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Do y'all have him coming? I mean, y'all live in regular places, like on his tour or whatever.
Who?
Like, Adam Sandler's doing like a big stadium tour.
Really? Oh,
I mean,
I haven't even paid attention.
He's literally from here. It made news, like it was in the news. Like he went to an IHOP or something, and they were like, "I'm sorry, sir, like you're gonna have to wait." And they were like, and people were like, because other people recognized him, and this
of course
lovely this poor girl like had no idea what she was like. Well, it's a 45-minute wait, and he was like, okay, and he just sat down and waited.
Why the fuck would he go to an IHOP? Gross.
He went to an IHOP with his kids
because they have blueberry syrup. It is delicious.
Look, the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity has nothing on a pecan waffle from Waffle House, and
that's true. But maybe they don't have Waffle House on Long Island.
We do not have Waffle House here.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Anyway,
well,
I haven't watched it,
Keith Lee would have loved that. That's also what I watched. I watched all the Keith Lee saga.
Oh yeah, and that Atlanta, this stuff in Atlanta has been. I've been listening, and then I was like, not a conversation for me, so I just watched it.
Anyway, my point was I'm thinking about getting my husband tickets to the Adam Sandler tour.
You should.
Where is he coming? When? Where?
I don't
What?
know. I need to find out.
Does your
So-
husband like him?
I mean, you can't be a dude who grew up in the late 90s and not like
Adam
Billy
Sandler.
Madison. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we all watched Billy
course.
Madison 800 times in high school. So anyway, yeah, we do. But I watched my number one for the whole summer this whole time was, can y'all guess? Do y'all know?
No.
Good Omens. Good Omens. It
Oh,
was
wait.
so good.
Oh, speaking of gay love.
I didn't watch it.
Oh my God. Okay. Like, so Neil Gaiman is in my like top 3 authors, which includes about 10 authors, my top 3. It's about 10 folks, but Neil Gaiman is in that third group. And I just love him so much. And the first season, have y'all read Good Omens? The book? It's pretty small.
I have read it and I have watched it.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So
Love
first season is very much the book. It's just,
Yes.
it follows the book. It's, the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter, which is like the second title of the book, Good Omens. And it just follows the weirdos and the things that are happening. Like Crawley and Aziraphale are not in the book a lot. Like they are, but they are not the protagonists of the book. Not really. I mean, it's mostly the Antichrist, Adam, and, anathema
And her.
device. And, yeah.
And then
Anathema
what's the
device,
dude's
and
name?
Pulsifer. So it's mostly these other people are kind of the protagonists, and Crawley and Aziraphale are like making things happen and kind of being like comedic relief and things like that. And then the show follows the books. First season follows the book almost to a T, but boosts, of course, Aziraphale and Crawley because those two are so fantastic, and they're making that kind of sorry, I'm burping. The centerpiece of what's going on. And it was great. It was so good. And then second season, Neil Gaiman is just like, but what if all the fan service about how much they love each other was a real thing? And I just gave you this beautiful season of them being married, paranormal creatures. And everybody's like,
watch it. I gotta watch it.
So good. It's so good. My daughter and I were watching the finale together, and we watched the whole thing. We watched first season again, and we watched the second season. Because there's no book to go by, and you're just watching this stuff, like you're just watching things happen, and it's no longer like a different group of people. It's just Crawley and Aziraphale like fucking shit up together and stuff like that. And it goes back into their past, and it shows like all these little tidbits of like the things that made them get together, like become friends or whatever. It's so good. And we were watching the finale, and literally my other daughter and her boyfriend were upstairs, and they came down to make sure we were okay. Because we were like, no! Ah! I mean, we were screaming at the finale of this show. It was such a beautiful experience. I was actually like dying that we weren't talking about it. Like it was
my Ruby watched the finale before I watched it, and then she watched it with me, and then she spent the whole finale just looking at me the whole time. And because she was like, I'm just waiting for you to cry. I'm waiting for you to cry.
We were screaming. The screaming, crying, throwing up thing, legitimately, that's what we were doing.
And it was like, it's my favorite trope. What's the book that we all love? The Derek Craven, like the grumpy hero.
Yeah.
The grumpy grump. That is Crowley.
Mm-hmm.
And like when he's the one who eventually comes around and is just like,
do not
come
spoil
on.
it. I haven't seen it yet.
It can't be spoiled because it's just so beautiful. You'll just be dying, so it won't matter.
When he admits that he loves the angel, it is
Okay,
just
that's not a spoiler. That's fine.
It is like, and like, oh my gosh, what's it? I'm blanking.
Is your
David Tennant. Like
Yeah.
he just plays that character just like a swashbuckling Mick Jagger.
I know.
He's good.
Sexy. And oh yeah.
It's just
But again,
it's
but, like,
beautifully
yeah.
written. It's so Neil Gaiman. And but like with whimsy attached to it. Like sometimes Neil Gaiman can be like rough and dark. Think about American Gods and things being like brutal and stuff like that. And then even Coraline, I think, is kind of a brutal allegory, and I don't really enjoy that book and that movie. But like Good Omens just has like so much whimsy attached to it, and yet it feels very real, because it's steeped in like biblical lore and stuff. And then the third season is going to be the second coming, and I'm just like, holy shit, get my rapture trauma on my back. I am there for it. I cannot fucking wait. I love this show. And
there's John Hamm. And they put John Hamm in, because he plays Gabriel. They put him back in those sweatpants.
I know.
So then I had to stop because I was like, oh, he's wearing the sweatpants. And my kid is like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, I need to show you this picture of John Hamm and his big dick in the sweatpants. It is like, this is what mother-daughter TV should be.
Yes. And the girl who's playing Beelzebub is the mom is Sharma, Mary Sharma from Bridgerton.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just fucking love that show so much. And it's so gay. And my daughter was like, this is the gayest thing we've ever watched. I was like, it is.
Also, really don't you think, Beth, as like ex-evangelicals, like it kind of scratches an itch? Like it really is quite a takedown of religion.
Oh, definitely. Like watching Aziraphale deconstruct because he wants to eat a roast ox is just like, you got it. Like he gets it. Like, this is beautiful. Why would I be told I can't have this? And then like, yeah, I think next season is going to be in terms of like ex-evangelical like feels and how like things work when I mean, I'm going to lose it. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people who haven't, I mean, I don't really know Neil Gaiman's like religious background, but people who don't have that, like who weren't raised indoctrinated, how do you get there? I guess because biblical lore is so pervasive. Like everybody knows Garden of Eden, the snake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like my daughter was essentially like raised in evangelicalism. I mean, she definitely was. And like we're out of it now, but like last night she was like, isn't there something called like the eternal flame in the Bible? Like some kind of like branch or bush. And I was like, the burning bush, Moses? And she was like, maybe. I don't really. And I was like, oh my God, she knows nothing about the Bible. And I was just like, okay, great. You don't know. I'm not going to tell you. But also like, maybe it's not as pervasive anymore as it used to be. But I always feel like, how does somebody without that background, like it seems to me like Neil Gaiman probably wasn't raised evangelical.
Well, the only reason I know about the burning bush is because of the Prince of Egypt, the cartoon.
I actually told her, I was like, it's time to get out the Prince of Egypt. One, I want to sing. And two, like, I can't believe you don't know this. But
well, like that's kind of why sometimes I don't want, Ruby doesn't know any of that stuff. Like the questions that she had, especially during Good Omens. And I was like, oh yeah, you don't know anything about the Old Testament.
Right.
You don't know anything about Lot and his wife.
Job. Like, yeah.
And
like
Job.
Ella's never heard of the story of Job.
She was like, Job was real. I'm like, he was real. And I'm like, I love that you don't know it. But then there's part of me of like how much literature that you need to kind of know the biblical canon.
We talked about this when we were talking on the podcast. Yeah.
But then the canon maybe it's time for a refresh. Like,
yeah. I just find it really, really, it's satisfying, but also kind of perplexing if you're somebody like me who knows it really super well. And you're just like, how does he get it this easily? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
But it really kind of was that moment, especially with Job, of like seeing God's just like, I'm going to give you all this fucking misery so you can love me more. And it really was that Life of Brian moment for me. Like when you kind of actually seen it played out with like real people, you're just, or, actors. I don't know why I did actors. They're actors. You're just like, God, this is so dumb. Or God,
like Job wouldn't have missed his children. Like that was like the core crux of that episode is that God's going to destroy Job's life, destroy his health, destroy his wealth, and take his children away. And as long as he never curses God, he'll get it back sevenfold. And the whole point is like, but I'm going to miss the children I had. Don't give me 7 new ones. You just took away the children I had. And he's like, it doesn't matter. They're just kids. And his wife is like, hell no, I'm not having 7 more babies. Like
and she's like, I'm tired.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, I've had it. So yeah, the only thing I wish they had in that episode that they didn't have is Job's friends, which is kind of the whole like focus of that book is like all of his friends discussing what God's doing to him. And I think it would have been really fun to see like Crowley and Aziraphale like eavesdropping or being the friends of Job discussing what God is doing.
With their stupid bad goatees.
Yeah. That would have been such a great like way to incorporate the fights that are in that actual book of the Bible about like what God is doing and like what it means. But they were really focusing on getting Aziraphale to eat that roast, which was really cute.
Meat.
Did anyone watch The Bear this summer?
Yes. So good. I was less stressed season
Much.
2, The Bear, than I
There
was in season 1. Much less stressed.
I actually laughed 4 times in this season, which is
It's a
incredible
comedy.
for a comedy. The first season, when I saw the comedy nomination, the rage. Like
Oh.
I had, especially because there were actually like legitimately good comedies that it was nominated against. And I was like, no, just because this show is a half an hour doesn't make it a comedy. It's
Not
not
at
even
all.
a dark comedy. It's not funny.
Mm-mm.
So
It's a
Mhm.
tragedy most of the time.
yeah, while I still feel like season 2 also was not a comedy, it was a little bit funny. Like I felt like,
Yeah,
oh,
there were more moments for
definitely.
sure. But
Speaking of
I
teeny people,
hated
how tall is that guy?
Oh,
He
he's got to
must be
be
very tiny.
5'3".
5'2".
I guarantee, like, I hated the girlfriend storyline, and I hated whoever that nepo baby is that played his girlfriend. I was like, you have the charm of my left sock after a
Yeah.
long day in my
Mm.
boot. I was just like, I just didn't appreciate her at all. And then I felt bad for being very unfeminist, but I thought she was terrible. And really, every time it was a scene with her, like the time that they're like driving and going like wherever, I was like, yawn, get back to the restaurant. I am so bored.
Yeah.
But
I
the
felt like it was her
cousin
fault.
the cousins storyline was actually my favorite storyline of the whole.
Yeah.
That was so
Yes.
good. Yeah.
I would
What's
have
his
really
name? Manny, Tommy, Morty.
I
Shit.
don't know.
what is his name?
That guy was
Cousin?
so sexy in Bad Blood, or because he was playing the Wall Street Journal reporter who busts Elizabeth Holmes. I'm like, I love sexy journalism for a cause, you know?
It's like that guy that was in oh god, I can't remember what he's bald and he's really tall and he plays like that kind of character, and then later on he's in something. Anyway, he was everywhere like in 2017. And I remember just thinking like, oh, he's so sexy even though he plays a bad guy. And then kind of a doofus into something else. I can't remember who it is. And this is not
Who, Mark
important.
Strong?
No. I can't remember
That's
I can't
hot,
even remember what
too.
he was in. That's how like focused I was on his fucking face. How hot I thought he was. I can't even remember what it was.
Kelly O'Quan?
I think he plays
Pastor
a bad guy.
Tim?
I think he plays a bad guy in one of the Marvel movies, but like one of the weird ones, like the Hulk or the second Iron Man or something. You know, like one of the ones that nobody watches.
That nobody watched. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Age of Ultron. Maybe he's in Age of Ultron.
I am behind on speaking of Marvel movies and Thor, and then I go to Taika Waititi.
I
only
love
watched the
Yes.
first. I've only watched the first episode of Our Flag Means Death. I need
What?
to.
Are you serious? That was my next
Um,
one that I've been watching.
Well,
No.
so I want to
Well, but
watch it
that's
with my
like sort of
kid.
strike adjacent, isn't it? Because it's not really airing during. I mean, it's mostly airing without the strike, outside of the. I don't know. Forget.
Huh?
What I
Is
said.
it? How? Because it's because it's New
Is it over?
Zealandish?
Is it over?
It's over. Yes, it's
It's
over.
over. The
Oh, I
second
missed.
season is over.
I missed.
But I want to watch it with my kid, and lately she's just been like, "No, I'm doing something else."
Well,
Which is
Emerson
why
and
I just started
watched it.
watching Loki without her.
Emerson and I
Ooh,
watched it, and it
bold.
was a great time because they showed it like in 3-episode chunks,
Yes.
which was just beautiful, just the perfect way to do it. We were obsessed. Although it felt like way shorter than the first season. Like it felt like the season just didn't have as much going on. And it was really, really focused on their relationship too. And I was just like, I don't know, but it had some great like it had some great female characters they introduced this time. It was a great season. It really was. I don't really I feel this is kind of bad. I care less about like future seasons of that.
Like you kind of it felt wrapped up to you.
Yeah,
That's on my
I think so. I mean, it's
Emma-
not, but yeah.
Emma just said, anyone watching The Fall of House of Usher, it is on my list.
It's
It is on my
scary.
list.
I have to find out how scary it is. Is it scary or is it because I hear the fall of the House of Usher and I think horror, but it's not. Isn't it more like Succession? I don't actually know.
I
I
think
feel
it's
like
the
it's
combo
a mix
of the
of
both.
both
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
Okay, so then I need to find out how scary it is because I don't do scary.
Did you watch the other show that she was in? The chick, oh my gosh, she's in a Fall of House of Usher, and it was it was
The Haunting of Hill House? Or is it Midnight Mass?
That one was so scary.
Hill House. Hill House.
Scared the bejesus out of me. I couldn't sleep.
Did you watch Midnight Mass?
No.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, Amy, you would love Midnight Mass. You would love Midnight Mass. Hot guys, like weird angel vampires, religion, bitchy religious people on a tiny little island in New England.
What channel is that on?
It's Netflix.
I love that I say channel.
I know, we all say channel. I'm listening to Chuck Klosterman's The 90s right now. And I've been wanting to read it all year, but I just finally was like, okay, I'm going to read it now. And actually my hold came in on the library. That's why I'm reading it right now. And it's so good. And I just constantly, my friends and I, Andy's the same age as me, but my other friends, Jamie and Shallon, we were all born the same year. And Jamie sent us a text the other day. She's like, do y'all feel like Gen X or millennials? And I was like, this question. I was like, I don't feel like either one. I'm definitely a Zennial. Like, I feel Gen X about some things and I feel like a millennial for others. And I feel like I'm my own micro generation for most things. And part of that is just like being super into pop culture moves me more into like a millennial feel than like the Gen X. And because I had email like all through college and stuff like that, I feel like a millennial. But listening to that book and just them talking about 90s shit, I'm just like, oh my God, I am Gen X as fuck. Like this is like, so anyway, whatever we were talking about, make me feel Gen X.
Ruby told me the other day, and she meant it as an insult. She's like, you're Gen X, but you think you're a millennial. And I was just like,
mean Ruby. I had 2 friends in shows this summer. So I watched them. Oh,
what did you
do? Happy birthday, Andy.
This is iOS. I'm on a Mac. So sometimes you do things like this or like this, and like Apple will do stupid things like put balloons. I'm sorry, guys. It happens sometimes. I don't know why.
That was really cute. I wanted to.
I love it. I'm on Adele.
So my friend Idara, season 2 of Minx on Mac it used to be on Mac.
You were telling us about Minx.
Yeah, so Minx moved from Max to Stars, and I feel terrible because Stars picked it up, and I was very grateful because I loved season 1 of Minx. And then the writer's strike and Stars cut you couldn't publicize Minx. But I loved it. Season 2 was really, really good. And it's a very
Jake Johnson's
good show.
in that, right?
Jake Johnson's in it. He's wonderful.
I watched 1 episode and then I didn't finish.
Oh, it's good. I liked it. And her character is particularly fun and gets to make out with Jake Johnson. And then my other friend was on an episode of Only Murders in the Building this season. So I watched the whole thing.
Is it good?
That
Season 3 was, it had Meryl and she's wonderful. And there were like a couple of songs in season 3 that were like really good because it has this whole like theater, like season 3 was focused in a theater. So that was kind of fun. And it had this, Steve Martin did this incredible patter song. Like it was great. And at one point, like Matthew Broderick's in it. Like it's got good people like doing fun things. But season 3 took a while to kind of ramp up for me. But I liked it. And my friend got to like curse out Steve Martin. So
cute.
It was funny. Yeah, it was good.
That's
I
cute.
liked
I
it.
haven't watched that.
The first seasons are really good.
Add it to my list.
Yeah. We started watching Peaky Blinders. Which I realized I'm super late to the party on, but it is one of the best shows I've ever watched.
I gotta watch it.
So good. And I think because I'm not like anticipating what's happening, there's no book for me to have read. I don't know what's happening. So it has some season finales that I have just been shocked to my core about. Like things have happened that I've just been like, what is happening? I mean, just truly one of those things where like if I couldn't have binge watched this from season to season, I would have been devastated.
Because you needed it.
Yes.
You're like, pump that into my.
Exactly. It's so good. And Cillian Murphy is just.
I love him.
Mesmerizing.
Excellent. Like I've never cared about him. I've always, you watch like Red Eye and Scarecrow or whatever, and he just feels villainous and just like, whatever. He's not really, he's not doing it for me. And then this is just. How could he has to do it for you? Like there's no other option. You are riveted to his eye sockets, his deep eye sockets.
Can I vent for a minute about a book that I read and then I thought I would watch the show? Lessons in Chemistry. I was texting Beth about this. I hated that book because the author, I felt like she was like Neil Gaiman is a great example of somebody who can pull off being clever in almost every sentence that he writes, and it makes sense and it fits the story and the characters, and you just stop forgetting that he's writing it and it's just a part of the whole world that he's built. Lessons in Chemistry, she was like trying that, like, I'm going to be so fun and clever and everything that happens is like, oh, and twee. And I was wanting her to shut the fuck up and just let the story tell itself. I hated the book. I did finish it. But then I gave the show a chance because I'd heard some people like it. I watched the first episode, and you're going to be surprised to know that they focused on one thing as a big character development for her, and it involves something that Diana Gabaldon is a big fan of. Guess what it was? Yeah, a sexual assault, a rape. Now, the rape was in the book. It didn't become, it was like a part of her story, but it wasn't like the catalyst for everything. It was kind of just the reason why she never gets her PhD, why she only has her master's. She doesn't dwell on it. She doesn't have like real PTSD flashbacks from it. It is kind of like it's just a part of her life. They made it like the focus of the first episode. And I was like, fuck you. I'm out.
Because as if the 1 in 4 women who've experienced sexual violence, which I think is a very low number, a low statistic, and an incorrect one, that is the only thing that they can draw strength from or focus on or what have you. Like their whole life is surrounded by this thing happening to them. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's not how we function.
Right.
It's very frustrating that it is when you are watching
and it's
things
lazy
on TV. Yeah. Super lazy.
It's so lazy. So I'm not going to watch any more of that. Sorry to Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, I can't think of anybody else you need to apologize to. How about how every single person in my library has had that book on hold for months, and it just goes through. It goes through the holds.
It's a pretty color.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great color for a cover. And yet a lot of people in my circle of friends love it. And then I instantly kind of judge them like about their ability to appreciate.
If we're going to start
good
talking
writing
about what we've read and what people read and what has been big this summer, that is my number one feeling about what people read and what people have read this summer is y'all are dumb. That's it. Like that kind of book, the book that becomes the Barnes and Noble book of the year. Okay. Like it's probably got something in it that's cute, but you're not talking like good writing. You're not talking about anything transformative. You're talking about something that was like a story that moved you along, that had interesting plot points and made you think about one little thing in a new way, whether it's like a lady on a chemistry, a chemistry lady on a cooking show or whatever. But you're not talking about like transformative literature that like hurts your heart and makes you like requires you to have an empathetic response to something else. And everybody is talking about fucking Fourth Wing and its sequel. And that book is shit. That book is shit.
What is that book?
Literal shit.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this book.
Okay, so Fourth Wing is written by a woman named Rebecca Yarros. She's not a new author. She's written like romance and I think maybe some romantasy, some fantasy in the past. And she's just your average kind of self-publishing kind of person, even though I think she's got Trad Pub. But Fourth Wing is a romantasy. It's a fantasy romance about a dragon riding military school. And the girl that is the main character, her mom is the general over all of this land's military. And apparently they're in constant war with their neighbors and they have dragons. So they keep them at bay because they have dragons and they have dragon riders. And she has to go, even though she is chronically ill, she has to go through dragon riding school, even though she's supposed to be a scribe. And she gets there, and that's kind of like the Hunger Games aspect of it. There's all these trials and stuff. And there are other kids who are like born to be dragon riders and study for it. And she's so weak and frail. Everybody thinks all the time she's just going to keep dying. And she doesn't. She miraculously makes it through all these trials with, great aplomb. And then there's a bad guy who, ends up putting his hands in her pants. And I just like, it's very tropey. It's very enemies to lovers. And then, oh, oops, but he's the good guy in the background, kind of thing. And there's theories about why her mom would have her go to dragon riding school if she knew she was going to die and all this kind of stuff. And so people think that it's like interesting and elite. And it's just not. It's just so badly written. And it's just not good. It's just like trope after trope after trope, just kind of chomped onto it. I saw everything coming ahead of time. And then the second book is published by Red Tower Books, which is essentially doing, I saw somebody on Book Talk call it the Shein of literature, where they're just like fast fashioning. They're just publishing things so fast, and it's just really, really, really cheap.
Scale. They're going for scale.
Right. And there were midnight releases for this book. There's, if you're at all on a Book Talk kind of thing, you're going to get like IG sponsored ads for like sweatshirts with the name of the dragon riding school on it. You're going to get all of that stuff. It's a big conglomerate type of thing now. And those books, the actual physical books, misprints. People open their book and it started with chapter 34.
What?
The sprayed edges were rubbing off. I mean, it just very cheaply done, but also people that are reading it are like, what is this content? I haven't read it yet. Second book, I have not read it yet, but clearly like written by multiple people, not edited well, cobbled together, probably outlined by Rebecca Yarros and filled in by other people because it just doesn't have the same tone. But regardless, not good. And I've seen people, when I first read Fourth Wing, I said, this reminds me of what reading Twilight is like. Because it's not good, but you were compulsively like pulled through it. And that is true.
Yeah.
But at least Twilight had like, it leaned into tropes that she kind of made her own. And this does not do that. This is just putting all of the tropes in one thing and hoping that it works out, and people being like, it worked out because when the first book came out, it was really pretty and everybody liked it. And I feel like it's just super bandwagoning. Anyway, I'm very upset because it's going to end up with a deal to get made. And it's just,
can I talk about the book that I read this summer?
Sure.
Yeah.
Not summer, this past month.
Yeah.
The Woman in Me by Britney Spears.
How was it?
Oh, how was it?
It's 200 pages. And
so short.
It's so short. It is so devastating. It is, by the end of it, I was ready to throw hands for her. And this is why I wish that she would do an Oprah interview or somebody who could ask her some other questions, because she doesn't name a lot of names. And I wish that she would, especially when once she said to her family, I'm not doing Vegas again. And she just walked off and they had her committed basically against her will. I want to know, who are these fucking doctors? Name the place that she went to. Who are these therapists? I want to talk. They made this girl go to AA, like from the second that she was first put in a psychiatric hold to the end of her conservatorship. I would love to hear from the women in AA with her. I know that it's anonymous, but to just be like, we were always saying to her, why are you even here? She wasn't an alcoholic. The amount of things that people, I'm shocked at how you can basically steal someone's life from them using like the medical, psychiatric, the
legal
rehab,
system.
and yes. And like when she would say, I was in therapy for like 3 hours a day, I would love to know, like, what were you talking to them about? Were you just sitting there saying, I have nothing to say?
Or I don't need to be here with you right now.
Yes.
I just want my life back. Yeah.
Yes. I'm just so devastated by how many people fucking failed this poor woman.
Right.
What's really wild about about that whole situation is that I have friends who legitimately like have children who are mentally ill and need to be in a conservatorship, and they couldn't get one. Like they absolutely could not get one. It was impossible. There and now these people are gone. They're like literally missing, have not communicated with their family for over a year. And it's like, there's nothing I could do. I tried everything I could. I went to doctors. I went to courts. I went to everything. And everyone's like, no, she seems like she's fine. You can't force her to take her medication. Like there are all kinds of people suffering and struggling that that have family that would and could care for them. And Britney Spears gets a conservatorship when she
because it was about money. It was clearly about.
It just kills me. Like,
yeah.
And they were able to get her consent to it basically by saying, if you don't do all these things, you will never see your children again.
Yeah.
And I would love her first lawyer, to go to jail because he consistently lied to her and told her that she could not choose her own attorney. The people who run like TriStar, her agency that Meghan Trainor still works with, fuck you, bitch. Like, I want to throw hands for this woman.
Yeah.
Is it well written? I mean, no. I mean, her ghostwriter did the best that she could.
Right.
And you could just tell that Britney still has this fear about truly telling the truth, because there was still, you could always feel she's holding back throughout the whole thing.
Sorry.
What did he say?
You done?
Yeah. Oh, it is 2:20. Shit. Anyway.
Well,
wait.
I did want to read. I haven't read it yet, but that is one that's on my list. Like as soon as it comes in.
I made confetti. 2 thumbs up is fireworks, I think. Hey!
Nice.
Sorry, guys.
Oh. It went dark.
Were you going to say something, Andy, about Britney?
No, I feel bad for her. That's all. But then, here's the thing. Then she like goes online and posts a video of her like dancing with knives. And I'm like, Brit, like you just don't help yourself, girl. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, the trauma of that many years, the 15 years or whatever, of having this imposed upon her and not being able to like live her own life and watch her being maligned in the press for all of these years, and seeing somebody like a fucking loser like Justin Timberlake like make it big and get to be on SNL and get to do all of the things that she wanted to have for her career, I'm sure. Just has got to put a huge amount of pressure and trauma on you, that you are starting to do like weird ass kooky shit, because what else are you gonna do?
Well, she does address that in the book. She says, I was told so many times like how to look, how to pose, how to dress, and she's like, I like to show my body now in goofy ways. And she goes, I know it makes people think I'm weird, and she's like, I am weird. I do dumb weird shit. And I just like, I understand that. I have said before, like, if we could just get her a stylist, I would worry less about her. Like, she's always doing these videos in those horrible brown pumps. But
imagine if Britney Spears came out looking like, Carrie Russell one day. Like, she looks amazing in some trousers and like, you would be like, what happened? Who's got her now? Like, what conservatorship is she under now? Like, she can't win for losing. Like, she can't be well styled and us still be like, that makes sense.
And she's very stuck. Like she's kind of stuck when in her low rise. Yeah. When she was, appreciated.
Yes. And it's clearly like she's literally still in 2005. Like,
yes.
Throughout, like, even though we're very, very much not in that era anymore. Yeah. Speaking of girls in pop music, Taylor Swift owned the summer. Did either of you go to the Eras tour?
I did not, but I have tickets to see her in Europe next summer for Vienna and for Munich. So I'm not going to go see the movie because I want to experience the Eras tour for the first time in real life.
So my daughter went with her boyfriend instead of with me. So that what happened, and that was wonderful. It was
Wait, did you buy the tickets?
No.
Oh, okay.
They were a graduation present from his parents. Isn't that super nice?
Oh, yeah, that is nice.
Yes. Did she love it? Did she make the friendship?
Oh my God.
Bracelets?
Yes,
take the
they had
moment
so much
and taste it. Oh, good.
They had so much fun. I just hate that it's like we have to go to Nashville for that shit, and I hate Nashville.
How long does it take to get there?
Like 2.5 hours, but I hate it there. So I'd rather go to like St. Louis, honestly, or New Orleans, and they're like 5 or 6 hours. But anyway, I do want to go. I think that I'm so excited. Like I don't feel like a Swiftie, but I do super duper like love her and like appreciate her. And I think that she's like a kooky queen. And I'm very happy with her Travis Kelce love story.
Yeah.
And they kissed last night in front of everybody.
She ran
Buenos
to him.
I
know. I'm not
Guys,
a Swiftie by any
care at
stretch.
all.
I do not
Yeah.
care at all. This is the one I feel like Gen X trait I have. I'm like, I don't care. I'm happy for her. I think girl bossing is great. Like I'm pleased that she is running her empire and doing so well. But like, I just get mad when people are like, oh my God, everything's so expensive. And I'm like, you just spent $4,000 to see Taylor Swift. Like, that to me makes like when people like malign because this happened to me this summer. This is stupid. This is very nerdy. But you know, the Star Cruiser was that Disney Star Wars experience, like it's self-contained, like in a hotel. It was like Star Wars LARPing, basically, like live action role play. Guys, when I tell you this was one of the best experiences I've ever had, of like 2 full days of like, I love interacting with actors and like pretending like I'm living in a world. To me, like that's the nerdiest Renaissance fair shit. I love every second. I love it. And when it first came out, people were like, oh my God, it's so expensive. It's ridiculous. How is it worth that much? And I was like, okay, but like it's 2 full days, like nonstop. I was like busy for 48 hours. Like if I could have not slept, then you could have done that because there was so much going on. And it included like time spent in Disney World, like in the Star Wars park. And it included all your food, which was like amazing food. And it wasn't even like gross, cheap theme park food. It was delicious. And I had an absolute blast. And when you price that per hour, I was like, this makes total sense. You know what I mean?
Are you girl mathing this, Andy? You're like, basically, they should have paid me.
So anyway, yeah. So it was great. And so when people were like, it was just too expensive for what it was. And I was like, you never did it. Stop. And also, again, there has to be perceived value in things. So unfortunately, people were perceiving the value of spending $2,000 for one ticket to see a concert for 3. Now, not all the tickets were that much, but if you didn't get lucky, like your daughter, like you, Amy, for the European, like the concert in Vienna and things like that.
I paid face value, $150 a ticket.
I mean, that's amazing. That's fantastic. And for that, honestly, even I'd go. Do you know what I mean? Like that is so worth it. But there were people paying, like there were people online going, oh, $5,000. I paid $5,000 to take my family of 4. And I was like, for a concert? Like, that's 2 hours of time.
It's 3 hours of time.
All right.
3 hours.
3 hours of time. But plus you're going to buy merch because you have to, right? You're going to buy like foodie.
Well, you have to make the friendship bracelets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pay to park.
Yeah, it's just so
you
much.
have to get a hotel because how many people had it actually in their own city?
Exactly. So to me, I don't know. It has nothing to, one had nothing really to do with one another, but my summer was literally spent like completely knowing that I was going to go on one more Galactic Star Cruiser trip. Like I was making costumes. So I was buying all the things, like people on Etsy were going crazy. I was going nuts, like trying to make this the most memorable Star Cruiser experience I could. It was ridiculous, but overall I got to do it and it was worth it. And I loved it. And I would pay it again. I would pay it again. Like it was great.
And did you earn some Hyatt points while you were there, Andy, or Hilton? Which one are you?
I'm Hyatt. I'm a Hyatt girly.
So actually 3 nights of our stay in Vienna are Marriott points.
Nice.
Good job.
So I'm scared. Like this is Beth circling back. I'm scared to see how much flights are going to go. I'm too scared to go look.
I know.
When are you flying? When is the concert?
July.
That face. Oh dear. I'd look now. It's got to be cheaper now than it will be
go
tomorrow.
So what I'm trying to just I have some points. What I'm trying to decide is there are 2 weeks between each one. And I'm taking my niece to the first one and then Ruby and then Gilles $2 to the second one. I might just stay in Europe and work and just go to his mom's house in Lille on the train and just hang out. The question is, will Ruby feel comfortable flying international with Jill's daughters? I don't know.
Yes.
Well,
she'll be fine.
She needs to.
I mean, sometimes she surprises me, and sometimes she doesn't. So we'll see.
That's okay.
She'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not seeing her at all. So there you go. Just tell her that. Tell her Beth's not seeing her at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Swiftie by any stretch. Like, I more of just kind of had FOMO. As soon as she announced those tickets, I was just like, I want to get those tickets.
And then I think about like Heidi took her 2 daughters and her sister, and they had like the most amazing time because they were live streaming and they were little baby Swifties, and everybody was watching their live stream and everybody was talking about the baby Swifties knowing the words and doing all of the cute things and wanting to get candy afterwards, and like core memory shit right there.
Core memory
for her girls, and just so wonderful. And for me, like that kind of thing is worth every penny. I took my kids to see One Direction twice in the fucking heyday of One Direction, like 2013, 2012 or whatever. And that is 100% core memory shit. Like they had a fucking blast, and it wasn't even remotely close to the amount of, I mean, it was a stadium tour, but it's not even close to like what Taylor Swift was doing this summer. So, yeah, I love that. Love it.
Love
so
it.
Cute. That's so cute.
It is cute. I do want to talk about one other thing.
Go ahead, hit it.
Before we go, and that is this year I started reading a fantasy series that is become like my whole fucking heart. And I think it's like literally becoming my favorite series of all time.
Okay, go. What is it?
It is The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. And it starts out, I know that sounds ridiculous. It starts out with a trilogy called the Farseer Trilogy. The first book is called The Assassin's Apprentice. Royal Assassin, the second book of that trilogy, is one of the best books I've ever read. And then I read the second trilogy, which is the Live Ship Traders, and it was incredible. And then I started the third trilogy, and the first book of the third trilogy brought me to my fucking knees. I cried for 24 hours.
What?
I cried for 24 hours over a fantasy novel, a 7th in the series fantasy novel.
Okay.
That's how good it is. It's
Wait,
so
what made you cry? Because if there is romance, then that will get me in.
It's not. It's okay. So I don't know how to tell you what made me cry without really kind of like spoiling a 7th book in a series for people who might potentially want to read it. And also me telling you that for a lot of people will be like, I'm not reading that shit. You know what I mean?
I love to cry. I love to be brought to my knees.
It was because the author, through the process of like exploring grief through the main character, made me think of things about myself that I had not been letting myself feel. Like I've gone through the last like 3 years of just like really like heavy, change, a lot of change and a lot of grief over that. And I just haven't been letting myself feel a lot of the grief that comes with that amount of change, because that's not my business. You know what I mean? Like my life changed, but like it's their business why that happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it through what this character is going through, this fantasy character and his like magic mind meld with his wolf. You're going to feel it. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm feeling it now. Like, and I cried for an entire day. I was useless.
Oh, I love that. Have you gone back and like reread that part again?
It is wildly emotional for me. And so that's only the first book in the third trilogy, and I haven't picked up the second one yet because I just don't know if he's clearly going to be going through the thing at the beginning of the second book still, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can pick it up. So good. So good.
What's it called again? The first one.
The first one is called Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. And the name of the trilogy is The Farseer. I mean, if you don't like high fantasy, if you don't like medieval high fantasy, dragons and magic and politics and court intrigue and all that stuff, you're not going to like these books.
I loved that
shit.
I loved that book. I started reading that series. Oh shit, I forget which one it was.
Ice Planet Barbarians.
No, that one. But it was high fantasy, I think. And there was a love story. It was like the girl is like a little like she's shit. She goes and lives in the castle, and there's like the bad one and the good one, and they transform into some kind of thing.
ACOTAR? A Court of
I don't-
Thorns and Roses?
Yes. But what bugged me in the world building part of it, I'm like, how do they turn on the lights? Like, do they have electricity?
that is the equivalent. The book that I was bitching about earlier, Fourth Wing, that is the fantasy equivalent of that. Those books are similar in terms of like how badly they're written. ACOTAR is super, super, super popular because it is it's got theory, right? Like people can like get into the lore and kind of go through like what's going on and get excited about what's coming next. And it's connected to other series that she has. And so people get excited about that. But in like really reading the book, it's badly written.
Okay, good. Oh, I feel better knowing that you said that. Okay, thank you. Then I will definitely try this other one. I will try it.
I think I've told you that ACOTAR is not well written before, but maybe not. It's not good.
You might have. I have very short-term memory problems.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not great. Most people that like good books think that ACOTAR is poorly written, and some people just enjoy it. Like Karen loves it, Heidi loves it.
I enjoyed it, but there were times where
enjoyable.
I was like, yeah, but I'd be like, what? Do they have like a Frigidaire? Like there was, it wanted you to feel like it was old, but then like sometimes that she would say things, and I'm just like, how did they do that without electricity?
Yeah, it's not well written. The lore of that book is another one that's like cobbled together from a bunch of different other fantasy worlds, and she just didn't know what she was doing. Yeah. But it's definitely enjoyable, especially if you kept going. Like they start like having.
And it was horny.
It was horny. Yeah. That's why most people probably enjoy it.
Especially the bad one, because I kind of pictured him as like a Loki-esque kind of character.
That's 100% the issue. Yes, he's got bat wings and tattoos, and they fuck in the second book. So yeah, everybody loves that. So yeah, but no, this is not romantasy. There is love in it, and I will say that there's not really like a woman in it, even though there's women in it, but there's not like a central love story, even though he is in love with a woman. But like, is
it epic, like Game of Thronesy epic?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, cool.
But with more like imagine Game of Thrones, but where Jon Snow is the through line. Like you don't have so many different, perspectives. You've got a singular person who's exploring that world, and you get him from childhood onward. It's good.
Have you watched the second episode of Loki yet? Or you watched the first episode?
I watched the first episode. I haven't watched the second one.
So when they were like, what was your life back in the, before you became, what do they call them?
Work for the TVA.
When you worked for the TVA. And all I could think of with that lady, I was just like, you had your 12-year-old son on your titty. She's the actress.
Oh yeah.
From Game of Thrones.
He's in she's not Tyrell. Is it the Tyrells? No,
shit. They're in the big tall mountain with the hole.
Yeah. Anyway. She's in the TVA, and that's what I can't ever think about anything except that 7-year-old sucking her titty. Mm-hmm. But the kid in Game of Thrones who had to, and I always thought like, how do they even remotely film some 7-year-old boy? Mm-hmm. Even if I'm sure it's a fake titty, but still.
Yes.
Anyway, he's in Sex Education this season, which is also really good. And all I can think about is you were nursing until you were in like the 4th grade.
I didn't finish Sex Education season 2.
I didn't either. I didn't finish it either. Oh no, I finished season 2. I didn't finish the new season.
Oh, season 3. You're right.
We really struggle with anything that has accents. Gilles really struggles to keep up. So we started watching Slow Horses with Gary Oldman, and I love it. Gilles can't understand a goddamn thing, even with the subtitles on.
Oh no.
So it's funny, like he only understands American accents.
I get really weirded out by Gary Oldman's real accent. So
I
think because I just don't expect it to be what it is. I think in my mind, Gary Oldman is Dracula, or Gary Oldman is the guy from The Fifth Element. And I don't even think of him as Sirius Black. And so when I hear his real accent, I think because he's really jocular, he's like really kind of like, he's very jolly IRL. And I'm like, why are you so happy? Like you're,
it is kind of like a high, yeah.
He's always like, And I'm like, stop, chill out, and be a little bit more circumspect. So yeah.
Now you make me want to go back and watch Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I fucking love that movie. That book is amazing.
That's a
Lived
Ryan
in the
movie.
Vale. Yes, the Vale.
The Vale.
But who were the Vale people? I can't remember which.
Lysa.
It's what's her name?
Aaron. The Aarons. The Aarons.
Yes.
Liza Aaron. That's
Aaron.
right. God, it's been a long time.
I haven't even read Feast for Crows. I've only read through Storm of Swords.
I watched Wheel of Time season 2. Much better than season 1. I know you don't like the series, the books, right? You don't like the books.
I read the first book in preparation for the first season. And I was just, it was so Tolkien-esque. It was like, I'm just going to take Lord of the Rings and slap a lady in it and say that it's not Lord of the Rings. And that's how it felt. It was so, and I've read so much high fantasy that I was like, clearly they all pull from Tolkien, but you don't have to just be Tolkien. And she did. It felt like that.
So I will say
Robert Jordan.
I will say this first season of Wheel of Time, I watched it. I thought it was fine. The second season really ramped up. I really thought they did a much better job. I mean, the people who are book readers are like complaining, but like, I don't care. It focused on a lot of characters that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. And I thought it was much more compelling than the first season. Thought it was really, really good. So
I'm mutuals with a girl on TikTok who's like one of the main Wheel of Time creators or whatever. Oh. And Amazon Prime sent her an email over the summer and was like, hey, can you hop on a call? La, la, la. And she was like, I don't really want to hop on a call with Amazon because of the strike. And I'm worried that like, they're going to ask us to promote something and I don't really want to do that. But she did it anyway. And basically they were like, do you want to come to Prague and see where everything is made for the show and like do set and all that stuff? Which really took me back to like season 3 of Outlander when they were like, do y'all want to come to Scotland? And we were like, yes. But they weren't doing like interviews and stuff. It was just basically like influencer week at the Wheel of Time sets or whatever. And she was like, okay, but what are my like content requirements? And they were like, you don't have to show anything. And she was like, sign me up. So she got to go and like hang out in Prague and like see all of the sets and costumes and people and all that stuff. And then she was like, while I was there, I did content like I was going to be posting it, but I didn't post it. And she's like, now I can. So
now she can.
I was like, oh, good for her. That seems like so much fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. And the second season,
I cared about something that much still, but I don't.
The second season was great. And I watched a bunch of things on Apple. So I watched Silo, which was horrifying, and I liked it.
Why? Did I watch that? I watched that. Tell me what that's about again.
So it was about people and they're living underground.
Yes, it has Rebecca Ferguson in it.
Yes,
her forehead never moved.
Right, that's exactly right.
Yes.
You're like, the Botox in here must be really good. And
a plate, a solid porcelain dish was her forehead.
And David Oyelowo was in the first episode, in a heartbreaking twist. Yes. I liked it, honestly. I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm enjoying this.
It was a great show. I feel like it was, because it's based on a book, I feel like the book is probably way better. But in terms of like production value and just, it had one of my favorite Austin actresses is in it. She's also in Succession. She's the mom in Succession.
Which
the British mom, like their actual mom.
Oh, she was in Ted Lasso. She's been in everything. She was in What's Killing Eve. Yeah.
She plays Mrs. Elliot in the Gwyneth Paltrow version of Emma, and I love her. Anyway, she was in Belgravia. Silo. She plays a great character in Silo.
I'm sorry, that's Harriet Walter.
Yes,
that's it. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh right, I only know her from seeing her in theater. So I was like, is she talking about Harriet Walter? And yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. Anyway, good show, fun show.
We just went to the I was in New York with Jill's whole family, and they did this Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island thing. I'd never done it before. It was cool. But then driving back, you're landing in Battery Park, and I'm just thinking like, oh, this is where Kendall Roy thought about ending it all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Good times.
I missed the end of Succession. That was a good night. See, the other thing about this summer and the strike, I completely abandoned Twitter. I didn't really think I was going to abandon Twitter. My phone still has Twitter on it and not X. So I was like, I can still open this app as long as it is still the bird, right?
Yeah.
And it still is that, but I moved it to like the third page of my swipey swipes, and I haven't been on it at all. Like y'all, early adopter of Twitter. I think I was on Twitter in like 2007, late 2007,
Yeah.
early 2008.
Mhm.
I can't do it. Like I can't do it. And I kind of don't miss it. Thankfully, I wish everybody could just pick a platform though. Like, are
Yes,
we
like
gonna
let's all go
do
to Blue Sky or let's
That's
go to
the problem.
Threads. Like
my problem
where
with Blue Sky is that every time I get on, I see everything that a certain person is doing. Like the way Twitter used to be, where you would see everybody's replies, even if you didn't follow who they were following
yes.
and who they were replying to. It's like that. So one of the only people I follow on Blue Sky is Neil Gaiman. And he replies to everybody who tags him. And I'm just like, I don't care how many people said happy birthday to you. And that's just like all I see. So I can't like Blue Sky.
Yeah. I had to stop or mute people. Like I followed Darth and I was like, I don't need to see everyone's dog photo. Like
Yeah.
it was just too much.
Yeah.
And
But
then there's not
Threads
enough
doesn't
people
do
on
that.
there to really
Yeah.
chat with you. And yeah, it's kind of like I don't know where to spend any time. Twitter was a delight on Tuesday night after the election. That was quite fun. Of just
I didn't
seeing
see anything.
well, just people like yoo-hoo, like Ohio, let's
Mm.
go get an abortion and smoke a bowl while we're there. Like that was
Hmm.
kind of nice.
See, I miss that. I miss being where the people are, which always felt like that was Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to do
It's
Threads,
not
but like
anymore.
nobody's there.
No
Nobody's
one's on
there.
Blue Sky either.
I don't know where
I don't
people-
even
I don't know where people went. I really don't. It's sad.
I don't think they went anywhere. I think they're just not really doing anything anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's how I am. Like I am on Blue Sky and I am on Threads, but if I really feel like I need to discuss something, I'm not doing it in those places. Like I might put
Yeah.
something in my Instagram stories, but not really. So it's just it's like a completely different era.
Elon ruined something wonderful.
Yes.
And like I have Tesla solar panels, and part of me is like, I want to get rid of these. Like, I don't want to support this motherfucker at all.
I saw somebody in a Tesla with a bumper sticker on TikTok, I think, and it just said, I bought this before Elon went nuts or before we knew Elon was nuts or something like that. Like literally just
Yeah.
bumper sticker to their Tesla.
He bought the company that Tesla bought, Solar City. So, I mean, I still have the Solar City logo on there, but all my money goes to fucking Tesla.
Yeah. That sucks.
It's
But I mean,
okay.
again, is there any ethical consumption under capitalism?
No, that's true. That's the whole point of, oh my gosh, the show that wrecked me. The Good Place.
Yes. The Good Place. That was a good time too.
That was a good show. Oh God, I got so buried. The end of that show killed me.
Ruined me.
Yeah,
I think about that all the time of like, yeah, like the thought of eternity. And then when you're just finally like, okay, I'm kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
Peace out.
bye. I've had enough.
I'm tired. Which is kind of like the point of Good Omens, where he was just like, don't you want this for all of eternity? And he was just like, no.
Yeah. Like, ew.
This sounds
Hell no.
boring.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Good Omens, and this is just a book rec. There's hardly anybody left in the chat. Nobody's going to ever watch this. But if you love their dynamic and you want to read an incredibly, incredibly heartbreaking book that captures it, but also like expands on it, and it isn't kooky and it isn't funny. It's just like, oh, it's called Angels Before Men. You can't really see, but it's a beautiful new cover of this new book, Angels Before Men, by Raphael Nicholas. And it's a gay retelling of the fall of Lucifer. And it's devastating and so well written. And it's going to be a trilogy. He's coming out with the, Angels After Man or something like that is the second one. I cannot wait. Anyway, it's so good.
What were the books that you have at your desk? Are these the ones you were just telling us about?
Me?
Because you showed on your you showed your work desk.
They were the Fever series.
Oh yeah, of the Fever series.
Okay. Okay.
I took my entire paperback we have a lady, y'all. This is just a fun little story. There's a lady in my library named well, I shouldn't say her name, I guess, but she comes in once a week and has 12 books to return. She doesn't live in the city of Memphis proper. She lives in one of the suburbs, and so she's not actually like part of our library system, but she pays to get a library card at ours, and she goes to the suburbs to get theirs. She reads voraciously.
Oh my
She
gosh.
reads probably 10 books a week
Good
at
for
least.
her.
And she always comes in. She's like, "What do you got for me?" And we're not that big of a branch. We don't have that many. And she loves fantasy novels. She loves all kinds of fantasy novels, and she loves romance. And she's read all of our romance paperbacks, and she's read almost all of our fantasy books. I don't know why she thinks we're going to get brand new books every week. We don't. But I try to have something for her that she maybe not has ever read.
So you have become her own personal library, is what you're saying. She just
Yes.
next time is just going to come to your house. And
Yes.
Beth is her dealer. She should. Yes.
I've already given her books that we don't have in our system yet, because it takes forever for the libraries to get books, right? Like they just don't get them fast enough. So I've given her several books that are just mine or ARCs that I got. And I'm like, read this. And she brings it back to me. And I was like, we don't have the Fever series in our library system. Like you could read it in ebook, but that's it. It does not exist. The first 5 books at least. And I was like, fuck that. So I am bringing my mass markets and giving them to this lady next week, and I'm missing the 4th one. So I ordered it, and I'm just going to like give her the whole set. And then
You're so sweet.
When she brings it back, if she brings it back, which she will, I'm going to wrap them and put them in the catalog and put them on the shelf, because we need them on the shelf. So that when other people come in and they're like, I really liked ACOTAR, or I really liked like fantasy romance, and I'd be like, here, take this 5-book series and get back to me, because there are 6 more.
Jericho Barons. That's why.
Yes.
Those are real horny, right?
So horny. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Super
Does
horny.
that lady like horny?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
She doesn't talk about it.
I'll say, like, how does she express that she likes horny?
Well, one of the other librarians that's been there a little bit longer than me, I was like, what does she actually like? Like, what is she okay if it has sex in it? And they're like, yeah, she read every single one of our romance novels. She's good. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like, that's all I know.
I love that.
Guys, look at my cat.
Oh, your little smush face cat. So
wicked.
cute. Andy has the cutest cat ever. Anyway, we probably should go.
I know. I do have people coming over.
Yes. But this was wonderful.
I do have to get stuff done.
Boozy brunch was wonderful. It was lovely. I'm so glad Ryan's glad it's over. But we will do this again. We're going to talk about some more shows, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. You got candy for me?